How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? So before you watch this video, I just want to give you a bit of a pre-warning. I've gone out, attempted to film it a couple of times, only to realise when I've come in and edited it that there is a major malfunction with my microphone that I cannot fix. Now, throughout the video, there's some really annoying fuzzing, crackling and popping. The content is valuable, so please have patience and watch it through. I know it's annoying and I will do my best to get replacement equipment as soon as possible for the next video. This is all about the push-up. Please watch it because there's many of you who can benefit from it massively. Your patience, your tolerance is very much appreciated.
What's up, team, and welcome back. The push-up is the subject for the day. The push-up is an amazing bodyweight exercise, one that we do a lot in the bodyweight plans, but also something that a lot of people get wrong. The purpose of this video is to teach you from the ground up how we should be doing push-ups. We'll talk about some progressions and regressions. It's really worth getting this nailed because when you know how to do a push-up, you can do so many variations that are going to help to build strength, stability, great abs, great arms, great shoulders. They really are highly effective exercises when you have no equipment. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the difficulty factor. It's really important that when you're doing any kind of exercise, whether that be a bodyweight exercise or an in-gym exercise, is that you select the right variation for you. If you are overreaching, if you are trying to do something that is beyond your current capabilities, back it off. You're going to progress anyway, you're going to get there, you may as well get there in the right way, safely. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is the first few regressions of a push-up. The standard push-up we all know about. I'll turn slightly off to one side so you can see it. The standard push-up we know about. Straight body, like so. And what we look for here is for the arms to be underneath the shoulders. If I turn even a little bit further, you will see that my hands are basically sitting underneath my shoulders. I'm keeping my stomach tight, I'm keeping my body in a straight line, and I've tucked my pelvis slightly under my body, okay? So, hands underneath the shoulders, arms straight, pelvis tucked slightly under my body to keep my abs tight. I'm going to lock my quads out, okay? So my knees are locked out tight. This is my push-up position. My eyes are slightly ahead of my body, looking about a foot in front of my fingertips. This is going to keep my neck straight. Now, for some people, we can't hold this position and we certainly can't do a full push-up in it. So what is the solution? We go on our knees. And all you do there is bend them. You start in this position and you bend your knees. The reason I said it is what a lot of people start doing is instead of doing that is they come onto their knees and you see them doing push-ups like this with their butt back, no weight over the arms. We don't want that. So our first regression, we start off in our normal push-up position and simply bend the knees. You can see that my elbows and hands have stayed beneath my shoulders, and then I can rep from there. Okay, so these are our first two options. We have a push-up on our knees, or we have a push-up on our hands and feet. Either way, we start the same on feet and hands, elbows under the shoulders, head straight, tummy tight, pelvis rolled under just a little bit, and then we drop our knees if we need to regress. So these are the two options we have for a starting position. We'll talk about some progressions from one to the other in a moment. The next thing we need to talk about is range of motion. What do I mean by that? It means that the motion that we are going to go through with our body. So many people, because they may not have selected the right start position, end up doing improper push-ups. Now this could be doing a push-up to here because they can't get down. That's not a push-up and it's very damaging for your shoulder. Some people may be able to get down there, but they can't get back up. What we need to do is make sure that every rep we do is at full range of motion. Well, once we've got our position, and I'll run through it again, our eye line just in front of our fingers, so our neck straight, our hands beneath our shoulders, our tummy button pulled in tight and abs braced like somebody's going to kick us. We tilt the pelvis underneath slightly and squeeze the bum. Quads are locked tight. Our range of motion should be full. So we lower all the way down till the chest skims the floor and we come back up. We lower all the way down till the chest skims the floor and we come back up. If we can't do that full, then we simply do it with our knees on the floor. But it's important that we always make it all the way down. Now, if you can do neither, your goal is to learn how to get strong through the entire movement. So we drop down on our knees as slowly as we can, resisting, but don't worry if you can't get back up. Get back up however you need to. Get your shoulders back above your hands, slowly lowering down all the way to the bottom. Get back up as you need to. Now what that's doing is it's teaching the muscle to develop strength through the full range. Eventually you're going to get stronger to be able to push out of that movement again. Then you may be able to go onto your feet or onto an incline push-up, and then you may have to do the same, lowering yourself all the way down to develop that strength, and eventually you'll be able to push back out. But it's very, very important that with every single rep you do, you get full range of motion. You are going to start getting very good at what you do repeatedly. So if you perform an exercise with shit form, you're going to get great at doing the exercise badly, okay? If you perform an exercise, even if it's lighter, with great form, you're going to get great at doing it well, okay? So the two starting positions, we have a full push-up here on the feet with the hands beneath the shoulders, neck straight, tummy button pulled in, glutes tight, quads locked, or we have exactly the same position from start and we simply bend our knees to ensure the shoulders stay in the same place. Second thing is range of motion. We always go all the way down to the floor. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, and probably the most common problem, so listen very carefully here, elbow position. Now, there are multiple variations of a push-up. We can do close grip push-ups, which are going to focus more on the triceps. They're a little aggressive on the wrist, but the closer we go, the more it's going to focus the triceps. The wider we go, the more it's going to focus on the chest. The key thing here is to ensure that your elbows are in the right position. So, I'll show you a couple of push-ups. This is going to be harder for you to see from this front position, but I'll also show you when I'm just up here. Now, the correct position for your elbows on a push-up is at about 45 degrees from your body. So when we're coming down with the elbows about 45 degrees from your body. What we don't want is the elbows out here, up at the side. It's very damaging for the shoulder and you are going to end up with shoulder problems if you do that. So we always get our elbows down at 45 degrees. Now, what do the two versions look like? If I do a correct push-up, I get into my position with my shoulders above my hands, my fingers facing forwards, my eye line about 1 foot in front of my fingertips so my neck's straight, my tummy button pulled in, my abs tight, my glutes squeezed, my quads tight. I then lower down with my elbows approximately 45 degrees from my body, full range of motion, so I'm all the way to the floor, then I push back up. And you see how the elbows travel in a nice, strong, safe position beside my body. Now, if I do that incorrectly and do what we see many people doing, these elbows flared out here, it's extremely, extremely dangerous for the wrists and for the shoulders. And eventually, even if it doesn't hurt you now, the wear and tear is going to get the better of you. So we must, once we've got our position, get our elbows down to 45 degrees as we move. That is a safe position for your push-up. They must not be out there, so really check that. Now, if you can't get this position on a full push-up, revert to an easier push-up, i.e. on your knees, until you get great at getting the elbows in the perfect place. Super, super important. So, we've now covered the two types of push-up, knees or feet. We've covered the body position, hands underneath the shoulders, abs tight, tummy button pulled in, glutes tight and pelvis tilted slightly, quads locked out. We've discussed range of motion. So if we can get all of these variables, and there is a reason I continue to repeat them, if we can get all of these variables perfect, we're going to start getting great at push-ups. Now, what about if we can do a full push-up on our knees, but we can't quite do a full push-up on our hands? What do? The easiest thing is to bring in a platform of some kind. So what I'm doing here, and you can use the edge of your sofa, you can use a chair, you can use a step. What the platform is going to do is make it slightly easier for us. So if I've got a little bit too good at doing my push-ups here, it's not hard enough for me, but I still can't do them there. What I can do is place my hands on an incline, like so. Now, what we've got to imagine here is that we are still in straight lines. So if we'd angled the world, I need to make sure that my wrist is still underneath my shoulder if we tilted the world up to this degree. So in this position, I've got my shoulders stable, my fingers facing forwards, my eyes are looking about 6 to 8 inches in front of my hands, my tummy button is tight, my pelvis is tucked under a little bit, and my quads are tight. I'm repeating this again and again for reasons. And then I'm slowly lowering down with my elbows at 45 degrees, and then all the way back up. I'm lowering down, elbows at 45 degrees, all the way back up. I'm using full range of motion. No matter which variation I choose, I use full range of motion. I get my chest all the way to the floor. Bam. So this serves as an intermediate progression between push-ups on your knees and full push-ups. Try using a platform, a step, a chair, a sofa, a table, anything. The higher the platform, the easier it is. The lower the platform, the harder it is. So, these things are the basics of form. Full range of motion, perfect body position, tension across your full body, and making sure you're selecting the right variation of push-up for you. Now, one of the only things you may come up against is pain in the wrists. Now, if you have quite inflexible wrists, they don't move well, you may experience a little bit of pain across this joint. If that happens, don't worry. You can get yourself some push-up handles which allow the line of force to sit directly above the thumb, and that's going to prevent the flexion in the wrist and causing any pain or impingement here. The other alternative, if you've got quite tough knuckles, is to place the knuckles on the floor and do your push-ups that way, remembering 45 degrees with the elbow, hands directly under the shoulders, neck straight, eye gaze about a foot in front of the hands, tummy button tight, pull it towards your spine, squeeze your abs like somebody's going to kick you and you need to prevent it from hurting, tilt your pelvis under, squeeze your quads, and then we go low, all the way, full range of motion, and back up. Full range of motion, and back up. Okay? And what that does is it places the line of force directly through the arm. There's no flexion, and it will take any wrist pain away. You can also do that on a set of dumbbells, which will allow you to get that line. It's a really, really useful tip if you suffer from wrist pain. Now, you will also see that when I'm lowering myself down through full range of motion, that my hip line is not dropping. My hips are not heading towards the floor faster than the rest of my body. If anything, my chest hits the floor first. So when I'm in my position, we're going to go through it again, you know we are. Hands directly under the shoulders, neck straight, eyes looking about a foot in front of your fingertips, which are facing forwards. Tummy buttons tight, abs are tight. We're tilting the pelvis slightly, we're squeezing the quads, and then we're going to come down with our elbows at 45 degrees. What you will see is that my chest heads down, skims the floor, but my hips are just a little bit higher. Bam! They're not up in the air, they're not arching or doing anything silly. We've still got the butt cheeks tucked. They're just a tiny bit higher, and they hit the floor or get close to the floor after my chest. Okay? If you can practice these points, you can get the perfect push-up. Now, there are more variations to the push-up. We can do one arm push-up, one leg push-ups. We can do push-ups with twists. We can do push-ups with ab movements integrated. If you can master the push-up, and I mean really master it, get it right, we can play around with so many exercises and you can really develop a great physique, gymnast level physique, with an exercise as simple as that. So please, please, please really try to get it right. Master the form that I've repeated throughout this video, get full range of motion and perfect being great at the exercises. Choose the right variation for you and progress through them as and when you're ready. Okay, that is your little push-up workshop. Watch this video again and again, practice it again and again and again. Really important that you get them right, because when you do, it's going to change your body weight training no end. Good luck.